Greetings, heroes and Force users of all ages, and welcome back to Inside the Tauntauns, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. Where the hell have I been? I'm Dino Nicandros, and once again, we are all together
Woohoo!
with Alyssa Simmons.
Hi.
And Daniel Dawson.
Hello there.
And today, we're talking about Comic-Con Special Edition. We're talking about the Boba Fett trailer that just dropped, I believe, yesterday. And then, of course, the Spider-Man Far From Home final theatrical trailer, just about 2 weeks out from that movie. We're all happy to be together.
Are we?
And by God, we're Boba Fett, Spider-Man, and Comic-Con fans.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's the line.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
I am Iron Man.
I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Smells like a new car in here.
Inside the Tauntaun, this is our opening song. Alyssa, Daniel, Dino, talking nerd stuff, come along. Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.
Welcome back, Mr. Nicandros.
Thank you.
We're also fans of you.
Oh,
Yeah, you should have added your own name in that long list of things we're
I'm a
fans
fan
of.
of myself.
By God, we're Dino fans.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
So you people,
You
Went to-
people.
you went
Are
to...
you talking about the queers? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, that's
You
precisely.
people.
Yeah, all the
You
queers.
went to Comic-Con.
We
that
did.
godless,
We sure
that godless
did.
festival of pagan ritual.
Heathenry. Like much
Oh my
heathens.
gosh, we missed
I
you.
will say, though,
we
there
missed
was-
you a lot, but
we really
yes, we
did.
did go there.
We did.
Mhm.
We went there. There was like at least one like person there that was. It was a costume. I'm not sure what she was cosplaying
You
as.
talking about the butt cheeks lady?
butt
Oh,
cheeks and
God.
boobs.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
I'm not I mean, I thought that maybe they would have like somewhat of a your whole butt can't be out situation, but she was in like a thong
We saw all of it.
leotard and her boobs were also very out.
I
I don't know what the hell she was either. Like what are
you know what? I should have.
you
I
know,
should have asked. I should have
You
asked.
shouldn't have.
And
I don't
I'm
think
embarrassed that I didn't.
I think we were fine at our distance that we were from her.
Fair.
I mean,
That's
I
fair.
feel like at the very least, if you're gonna do that, go as Slave Leia. And
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, and then just
But
like
it was
At
just
least
like
that's a
fishnets.
thing.
It was like black fishnets.
yeah, it was probably from some
Yeah.
like obscure video game or something that
No
we
doubt.
don't know
Mhm.
about. Some
Yeah.
anime.
You know, she could have been going as like the meme version, not the meme version, like the so the new Resident Evil game, right?
Oh yeah, we saw a couple of the tall,
We did
the
see a
tall
couple
ladies.
of hers. Yes, big
Okay.
big boobs McGee. But there's been a couple of mods. That's what they call them.
Mods.
Yeah,
Yes.
mods, and one of the mods like has her in the most scantily clad, and it kind of looks like that now that I think about it. So I'm just gonna say that that's what it
All
was.
right. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Like
Huh.
that's a deep dive. Good for her. Good for her.
Yes,
Like doing a mod of a video game. Like not even like the video game, the actual video game. She went for
cosplaying as a mod of a video.
That
game.
is
Yeah, that's-
ultra. That is
deep
ultra
dive.
specific.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
good for her.
yeah.
So
Indeed.
But yeah, that's all that we saw. That was
That was it.
that
was the whole
that
weekend,
was your first
honestly.
Comic-Con.
That was
So
it.
what?
It was her first.
That was our first.
yeah,
Yeah.
It
The
was our
first
very
one.
first.
After how many
Yeah.
years trying?
And,
I mean, for me it was 10. So I guess I can wait.
I mean,
another
well,
year,
not quite
but-
10. I think I definitely lost count, but I feel like it hasn't been 10 years. It may be 10 years, but just not straight. Like I feel like I've been like I did it like a couple of years, and I was just like, well, this is
Yeah.
obviously not working.
It's
and I
never
just gave up.
happening. Yeah,
And
they.
then-
I gotta say, even though it is, take what you will with this, but like the sort
I'll
of
take it.
the random selection of people into
Oh.
the queue,
Yes.
I think that it actually gave a lot of people more of an opportunity because I mean, I
Sure.
alone at my house had like 6 devices on
Yeah.
the site right when it went live.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, the time varied between all of them, but we lucked out because we got tickets, but then we ended up getting comped because
hilarious.
of
Right.
Daniel's hookup. But
Yeah, that's crazy.
But the funny part about it
so
all, I guess, inevitably, what we ended up finding out is this special edition, quote unquote. Well, we knew it was special because they just didn't have Comic-Con the last year because of the COVID circumstances.
last 2 years.
Last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh my
they're
God.
like, let's
Yeah.
make it special. But also, I think more or less just because they were like, okay, well, let's do this year's, but we'll just push it back a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
So it ended up being sort of like a diet
Yeah,
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con light.
Comic-Con light.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Which,
we
we
were,
didn't. I mean, we knew obviously that it was 2 less days than regular
Right.
Comic-Con. First of
Right.
all, and we lucked out because our friend Chris Villain
he was showing us the
was
ropes.
showing us the ropes. He's a big time Comic-Con dude, kind of cosplays and does that whole thing
The
for a
guy
living.
literally, I was joking around because like people were like finding him and being like, "Oh my god, can I take a picture with you?" And he wasn't even wearing.
He
a
wasn't
cosplay.
even
I
in
was just like-
costume.
I was just like, "You are doing such a good job cosplaying."
That's
as Chris
clout.
Villain."
Yeah,
Right.
seriously. But he
if
sort
you want
of
to know what real power looks like.
That's it.
he
That's
explained
it.
to us that like as far as like the amount of vendors and stuff that were there in the main hall, it was about the same, but just like the actual presentation of it was a little different, and I think that might have been a
Yeah.
combination of the fire marshal actually being on
Yes.
the convention center, because they weren't even allowing people to like sit up against the walls
Yeah.
Oh, really?
because they
we
were like
"Oh, and
yeah, it
poor
has-
Alyssa, she spilled all of
I
her
spilled my
nachos."
freaking $10 nachos on the gosh darn ground. I was so
she,
mad.
She ate about $5 to $6 worth of it at least.
Stupid,
poor thing.
stupid.
You hate to see it. You really hate
Yeah.
to see it.
She was putting her gluten to the test. And
Anyways,
paid the
so
price.
we didn't know those things because obviously we haven't been before.
yeah,
but,
we didn't know we were
Right.
missing.
But
But
he told
I mean,
us,
Chris
like-
kind of filled us in.
Yeah, he was like, there are people that like stand on top of the booths and like yell shit.
Yeah, right.
And we were like,
Oh.
oh. But
And the booths are like taller normally.
yeah, he said they
and-
were taller. That I don't know about that, but I think he's a big liar. But
Yeah. No,
No,
I mean,
but-
I think I'm. If it's anything like what E3 is,
Mhm.
I think I know what he's talking. There's just like more built up things and like
Yeah.
more like things that look like
Environmental
set pieces
stuff.
and
Yeah,
and
right,
environmental
right.
things.
but
we didn't
and-
we didn't
yeah,
get that
yeah.
much.
no.
It was more
Gotcha.
like just like standard booths
Yeah.
and
Okay.
tables.
And we said this repeatedly through the whole weekend. Like, we were really glad that it was like a smaller number of people.
oh
Depressed
yeah.
turnout,
We were
yeah.
I think we were told, I mean, I don't know if this is official. I don't think it's official, but like at least from the feel of it, it was like a sensible like third of the
Yeah.
way full.
Wow.
Like or like
Wow.
a third of how much
Okay.
it usually
But
is.
I think about
Yeah.
if there were 2/3 more people there at that
Oh my God.
convention, I honestly don't. I mean, I think
I don't think I would
I
have
don't
enjoyed
think
it.
I would have enjoyed it. To
Yeah,
be
it would've been
honest, I would have
spooky.
felt like I'm so crammed in here, and I don't get to like I'm being like just ping ponged back and
Right,
forth
right,
between
right.
people, and I want to go see that artist's work, but like
But
I
it's
can't
gonna
even
take
get
about
over
20 minutes
there.
to even get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
well,
I
let
want
alone the whole COVID situation. I mean,
right. Like I would have felt weird about it in the circumstances now, but yeah, I was really stoked with the amount
yeah, it was
of
very nice, easy to
crowded
get
that it
around.
was.
Easy
Well,
to-
and I think, and Chris Villain, if you're listening, you can correct us. But my friends have told me over the years, I think the capacity usually gets up to around 150,000 people.
I wouldn't
that
doubt
place
it.
is massive.
I
It's so
believe. I believe, and actually believe that number from the videos I see every year, where like
That
Hall
wouldn't
H
surprise
alone,
me.
where they do all
Yeah.
the big movie presentations. I mean, it's nuts. It's like
I mean, truthfully, you could drive like at least 2, maybe even 3 or more, like of the frickin' space shuttles. Like,
Yeah.
it's insane how big it is. Very, very big.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just nice. Yeah, because of the fact that it was like so not vacant, but just like not as many people. Like you didn't feel as guilty like if you were like coming up to an artist, like talking to them and finding out like where they're from, and like you could strike a couple of conversations because they weren't stressed out about like getting to like
getting
all the
through the
different
lines.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
great.
that was cool.
For sure.
But yeah, so we weaved in and out and saw all the different things, and there's
So we'll talk about the panels in a sec, but were there any booths or artists or vendors that struck a chord?
Well, I
Stuff
feel
that
like we
interested
all
you?
have. I think we all have different ideas of but we both there were kind of some things that we really. What you go first, Alyssa? What were the things that struck out to you?
Well, I personally did not purchase any art, so I'm going to say that first.
So do you hate artists?
I hate
or...
art
Yeah.
in general.
She hates
That's my
art.
takeaway.
And
Mhm.
artists.
Right,
But no, there was some really amazing stuff. I want to I found this really fascinating. It's not surprising, but kind of just like, oh, interesting. I would say that like half, maybe even a little bit more than half of the like Artists Alley section
Oh,
were
yeah, I remember you saying
anime
this.
artists.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Or done in the style of anime. So I thought
Mhm.
that was really fascinating because I was like, yeah, I mean, manga is like a huge thing in the comic world. But
Oh gosh, what's the manga the anime style where they basically just portray like everything super gay? What is it called? Oh god.
I don't know.
They
That's
had-
your area.
I know, it should be my area. Well, they had a booth
Gayname?
for that too, and I was like, "Oh, here it is."
Oh, the boy. I know what one you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking
yes.
about.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. But
Uh,
yeah, there were some really gorgeous artwork there.
Gorge.
There was just beautiful. Yeah, there were a couple of really like big Star Wars pieces that I was like, I wish I had like a big.
Yeah.
I wish I had like a
Yeah.
big house that I could like have the
just
space
endless wall space. Yeah,
for that.
Well, don't worry. When this podcast takes off in 2022, you will.
Yes,
that's right.
I will have that ridiculous home in Florida that's been all Star Wars renoed, just forklifted
Right.
to California.
10 minutes away from Disney World.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, so but Daniel bought a couple of really cool pieces. So
I did.
tell us
I got
about those,
some-
Daniel.
I got some art. Art. Let's see. I got. So for those of you that have been to my home,
which I hope it's not that many
just-
of them.
I
most
honestly
of our
hope it's
followers
not.
have.
Yikes.
Wait, they haven't come to your house? I thought
Don't
not
give
while
it-
I was away.
Don't say your address on here since some
my
rando
address
some
is
rando from
one-
Twitch showed up at your house one time. So
Yeah, that is actually legit. One of the if you've been to my house, I have this thing for like vintage travel posters, or at least that kind of style. And
It's next to the dungeon.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
yes.
There was an artist that was doing like basically fake vintage travel posters to like video game locations and like other nerdy things. So I got one that was like for the Lost Woods for Zelda. I got one for Tatooine. I got one for what was the other one I got? It's really cute. Oh, Rapture, which is kind of a deep dive for some people, but it's this really fucking awesome video game called Bioshock. That was one of my favorites, and it was like a place that it's like so spooky in the game, but like I would have loved to have gone to. It's like this underwater like city, sprawling city. Anyway, and then I also there was an artist that they basically recreated like really famous old paintings, but with video game characters.
Video game
in them.
and comic characters. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the painting, but it's like a painting of like a princess or a queen that's like knighting someone. And they replaced them with Zelda and Link, and I was like, I have to have it.
It's really pretty. And that
Yeah.
artist was actually like painting stuff live in like in the moment.
She's
which
so
that
nice
Interesting.
too. She's from Canada.
Yeah, that was
Um,
cool. There were a couple of booths that were like that were like comic artists that were like
doing
just
it.
give me a scene and I'll draw it right here.
Cool.
So that was
Freaking
neat.
cool as hell. And
the
because
most
a lot of them are selling their services too, because that's
Right.
part of the biz. Like if you're like wanting to write. Oh well, we're gonna get into that one.
We'll tell a story about that in a
We'll
second.
tell a story about that. But
now tell about your most important piece that you purchased.
my most important art piece of all. We walked by a booth and I was like, I have to have this, all of it. This guy, his whole gimmick is putting butts on things.
God almighty.
And I was like,
They're really
wow.
cute, though. They're really
They're
cute.
so cute.
I know. I don't.
You'll
I
love it,
don't
Dino.
acknowledge them.
It's actually freaking adorable. So the one that I got, I mean, honestly, I could have gotten the entire collection, but
There
I'm
were
like,
some
I'm,
really good
poor.
ones.
But I got
Butt
the BB-8
collection.
that so a BB-8's got a little butt on it. It's very cute.
God.
It's very cute.
Desecrating.
There's a pic. Oh, there's another
Poor
one
little
where they.
BB-8.
Yeah, it's just great. Like there's a like a taco with a butt. There's a I think they even had a Death Star with a butt.
Yeah, it was a Death Star butt.
Yeah, just ridiculous, but so cute. Oh, we also are going to make millions of dollars on Funkos.
Oh yeah, we purchased some limited edition, like Comic-Con specific Funko
So,
Pops.
We're going off
Oh.
of Chris again. This is another Chris Villain thing. So like, if it doesn't
Like,
work
we need
out,
to-
we are sending him the bill.
We need to have an episode dedicated to figuring out what the hell and where the hell Funko Pops came from and why are they so popular.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
guess China or Japan.
I mean, yes, that's a natural guess. I just in general don't quite get it.
Yeah, maybe
No.
we should just do a whole episode about Funkos because that's
Sure.
that's a huge thing.
It is a big
Huge.
thing.
Yeah,
And-
and I was honestly never really into them, but then during the pandemic, that was something that I started collecting.
Hey, look, you need
They
a
gotcha.
purpose.
you know,
They
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah.
and not only like just like Funkos, like signed Funkos. So
Oh shit.
yeah.
And if
But-
you don't know what we're talking about, and
Collectors.
this will be a very rudimentary explanation, but they're not action figures, but they're these little figures with very large heads
they're
and
like
very
bobblehead style.
They're very
exaggerated
cute.
features. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty cute. Like some of them are cuter than others, but yeah. So
And they had some cute ones for the
Yeah.
collector's editions.
yeah, we got the like Comic-Con specific, which is like the little toucan that's on the
Which I don't understand.
the comic. I know we tried to kind of like look it up and be like, why
What
is
is
there
this?
a toucan on the Comic-Con
But
logo?
the answer is why not?
You know,
I guess.
it's
Mm.
there. It probably does mean something. But yeah, and then they had a really cute Wonder Woman, Superman, and I only got the Flash because he's in like a samurai style, like uniform, and that looks
Pretty
really
sweet.
Nice.
looks really cool.
But the Wonder Woman and Superman are in black and white, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so we were told that these are all collector's items and only sold at Comic-Con, which, you know, if
So,
that is the case, that
Yeah,
we
so
could
they ran
potentially-
out. They ran out of them, the toucan ones for sure.
Yeah.
And we were told that, and I already checked, Daniel. Actually, some people are already selling the toucan one
Yeah.
for like $85 on eBay.
Are we going to be rich?
Well, we're going to be that amount of rich. They were
Oh
like,
my God, we did it, you guys. We can move out. We
We
can.
can fund so many different
Wow.
endeavors now.
It's just.
yeah. So it's not. I
I'm
mean, it's not
thrilled.
like an absurd amount, but we paid $15 for them. So that's
Yeah. No,
Wonderful.
that's cool. Like, there's some cool Comic-Con exclusives, and I had a friend go. I'm thinking about the last time somebody brought me something from Comic-Con. I think it was 2014, and that's the summer X-Men: Days of Future Past came out.
Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
And I have a poster in my bathroom back in LA from Comic-Con, and they had a Trask Industries booth, like a
Mm.
big like environmental booth
Mhm.
at the convention that year.
Cool.
Like really immersive, like showing off the Sentinel technology and stuff, like in the
Dope.
run up to the movie, like really creepy.
ooh.
And they were handing out these propaganda posters that say mutants are the enemy.
Oh, cool.
Ooh,
I
awesome.
love that.
And so the Comic-Con does like really cool stuff like that. I love that.
Not this time.
This
Not-
time it was a little more sparse, but you know,
Bears.
sparse.
We got the bare bones.
So we got the Funkos. Did I get anything else? Oh, I got a really cool Batman hat.
Yep. And you also
Nice.
got your Comic-Con
And
shirt?
I got a Comic-Con shirt. Just a, basic.
Oh, we got some pins for you, Dino.
Yes, we got you
Some pins?
We got you some
Yeah,
pins.
Some pins to remember the Comic-Con you didn't go to.
Pins, John. That's 1776.
Yes.
That was a
yes.
deep cut.
That
Thank
was.
you. And,
oh
and
my
thank
gosh.
you.
Dino
I didn't have
made
to do the musical.
Dino did the reference today.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Saltpeter, pins. Saltpeter, pins.
Sit down, John.
Sit down,
That's
John.
all I know. That's all I know.
That's all you need to know, honestly.
You'd be a good Richard Henry Lee, Daniel.
Oh, he's like the foppy
He's
one,
the boisterous one. He's the
yeah.
boisterous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Someday.
Anyway,
So yeah,
You
our
should be my
first
agent.
our first date. What? Who
I
used to
said
be
you
your
should be my agent.
Oh, I thought you said
said
he.
I should be his agent.
I thought you said he used to be my agent.
Richard Henry Lee.
I'm like,
He did.
no, he
did
didn't.
back in the day.
No,
Turns out I'm
You're
200
high.
years old.
he wasn't your third great grandfather's agent.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first day was just kind of like walking around, getting the lay of the land.
Yes, in our normal people clothes.
Yeah, we wore nerdy-ish things. I had like a Marvel themed stuff going on.
Yep.
I
I
yeah,
went for my gay He-Man.
and he went for the gay stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
to represent.
yeah, but we did go to 2 panels on Friday. Should we talk about
Yes.
panels now?
Yes.
Yep.
Mine as
Panel
well.
it up.
Oh, before we leave the area, Daniel and I have to tell you about the Artist's Alley moment.
Which one?
The comic book guy.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so this moment, like,
Oh no! I tried to forget, and no.
I brought it back. I'm sorry.
Oh no!
I can't stop thinking about him. I really can't. So, a lot of times they will select new artists and writers to have booths.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really, honestly, if anybody could have a booth.
Anybody
if you
can
pay
have
enough
one if you
money,
could pay
yeah.
if you put down the money. But
Yeah.
so this guy, a couple people, I think, especially on the first day, because Daniel.
This little guy, like invested some money.
He did, yeah. His setup looked good and everything, and he was like, "Hey, can I tell you about my comic book?" And we were like, "Oh, sure." So he handed us the book, and he was like, "It's not free. Like, you do have to buy it, but if you do buy it, I think it was really expensive too. It was like $20 or something."
Yeah. Well, it was like a book. It wasn't
I
like
know,
a.
but still,
Yeah.
he was like,
yeah.
"It's $20 and I'll sign it," but I honestly can't remember what the story was about because the art.
No,
both
it was
both
a
of
lot.
us were like, the art didn't look like anything that we would
wasn't
be
really jumping out. No.
interested in.
Mhm, mhm.
And he was like,
Oh, and
"So
that was something we learned in the panels, and we'll get to that.
yeah,
too.
we'll get to that."
Mhm.
But he was like, "So do you want to buy it?" And Daniel was like, "You know what? We're like, we just got here, and we'll come back." And the second he said that, like, it was literally like Daniel had just told him, like, "I actually I'm gonna come back later so I can kill your dog and
pee on your grave. Yeah.
like it was like the saddest. He was like, "Okay."
Thanks
No.
for noticing.
And he like took it, and we're like, we don't know if that was the tactic or if that was just a genuine, that's what he's been dealing with.
Yeah, truthfully, I don't know if he
Always.
made it to day 3. I think.
Anyways, we just couldn't stop thinking about him because it was the saddest. It was the
I
saddest
hope he's
thing.
okay.
That
I
poor
hope he's
guy.
okay too. It was like so like. But
It's
I
gotta
did
be really
see.
tough because you're putting your
Yeah.
heart on on
Yeah.
display.
Oh my gosh. To be like,
basically.
I made that. He wrote it. He didn't do the art, but
right.
he wrote it, and nobody
But
was
he
buying
invested
it.
probably a considerable amount of money
It's
in there.
true, and it's that's the Super Bowl for comic book artists.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean it's or artists in
Oh,
general. you know,
boy.
it's-
I mean, in order
Man.
to like, I didn't really do the math, but like, because I think that like, I want to say Comic-Con tables are something like $2,500 or something
Oh
crazy
my
like that.
gosh.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can imagine if you're selling like a $20 comic book, like, I mean, obviously it is an investment. It like, I'm sure for a lot of people there, it's probably
Yeah.
rare that they make that money back. So you're
No.
investing in the exposure and all that.
And in
you
that
know?
way, having Comic-Con at full capacity, having 150,000 people is
That's a
great
lot of
for
eyes.
them.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a big
yeah.
investment.
Yeah, it's a lot of eyes to see, and you know, you might even see like you never know who's walking past, like, because like really there was I mean, people I didn't recognize because I'm not super like deep into the comic book world, comic book making world, but like, you know, there was some legit like comic book makers, like publishers there, you know, and they could have been walking by him and like, oh, this is kind of cool, you know, and that's all it takes.
Well, yeah, it doesn't take much. A friend of mine, I've mentioned him on our podcast before. He's writing the new Ant-Man movie, Jeff Loveness.
Cool.
He's more an acquaintance now, but who went to Pepperdine. He while he was interning with some late night hosts, he was writing Guardians of the Galaxy comic.
Wow.
Like he was drafted to do like literally. I don't know how it happens. So to your point,
Yeah,
anybody who shows up there and shows off their work,
you just
that's
never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, technically, one of the panels we attended should have sort of
It should have described all of that.
Should have told us how to do that.
The text I laughed out loud when I read that text.
Oh boy. So I'm gonna talk about these two.
It was a wonderful segue.
These two things, and then we'll move on to the good panels. But unfortunately, we did attend two panels that never actually discussed what the theme of the panel was.
And I mean, really, honestly, that became like the theme.
It was honestly
like, the theme
comical.
was just not talking about what you're supposed to be talking about. Yeah.
So the first one that didn't even sort of kind of ever even graze the subject was
like, I feel like our podcast tends to go off topic sometimes too, but
sure,
like,
but
we
like
circle back.
But
we
at the,
circle
but
back.
at the root of it, we're still talking. We're still talking about things. So the one that on the first day was remind me of the title exactly, Daniel.
making a living being creative.
Okay.
That's broad.
That's broad, okay, but I'm like, okay, I think that might be helpful for us. Like maybe they might talk about, you know, do you
Actually, here,
run
let me read you the
read
full
what the
description.
synopsis said it was meant to be.
And you'll get the names of the people. Like, of course, this is nothing against them.
no.
This is really nothing against them.
We don't need their
we don't
names.
need the names because
Okay,
it's not necessary.
so we'll just say storyboard artist blank,
uh-huh.
and illustrator blank.
Uh-huh.
Discuss the business of being creative and the various ways you can earn a living while having wacky fun, how to break into the industry, promote yourself, networking, and a Q&A for anything they may have missed.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the
bet
two
that was a
things
long Q&A.
that they said that were
I seriously, I said a couple of times, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what if you just like, okay, so my one question is,
how do
you
I
make
make money?
As a creative.
Yeah, but how about that?
No joke. The only thing I think in that breakdown that they said was the girl said networking is really important.
Yeah, she did
Oh,
say that.
God.
That was
did
all
say
she
that.
said.
There was
Oh,
one other
God.
like nice morsel that was like, well, we already knew that, but that's a
yeah,
good thing.
the other morsel was the
Oh,
guy.
it was about, but also it wasn't a good morsel. We
he
like,
had
thought
one
it was
more.
good at the
He
time,
had
but then
one
it was like,
good and one not good. One good was that he said, "You need to know your worth."
yes,
and-
that was the good
and
one. Yes.
yeah, you need to know your worth and like don't let people pay you what you're not worth, and that's great advice. And the
But yeah,
other,
the other one,
and the other
That your
advice
parents will also give you, but yes.
Sure. The
Sure,
other
yeah.
advice that he gave that was horrible was you should any sort of constructive criticism that you receive, you should take it.
yeah, and anybody who's
And
like,
I said-
just like trying to like, if you have a bunch of friends that are saying like, oh my god, this is so amazing, like,
Don't believe them, only believe the people that are giving you constructive criticism.
I mean, he didn't say that, but in so many words.
And I was like, actually, no, that's really bad. I've actually gotten some absolutely horrific advice that was
Yeah.
considered constructive criticism.
I've had voice teachers who have basically ruined my voice.
Well,
not
and to,
not everyone knows what they're talking about.
No,
No.
and to tie this back into the namesake of this podcast, I mean, the Star Wars,
Right.
the Star Wars inspiration for this podcast.
Yeah.
If George Lucas had listened to some of the people in his friend group that
Yep.
included like Spielberg and Francis Ford Coppola, and I don't remember
Right.
which ones were not so much a fan of the first cut,
Uh-huh.
you wouldn't have.
We wouldn't have
frickin'
frickin' Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and
Exactly.
I understood what he was like trying to say, that like, it's difficult to take constructive criticism.
Yeah, and it's good to take notes,
Um,
especially because, sometimes they could be really helpful.
Yeah, anyway, so that was the first garbage panel. The second garbage panel was let me get to it. It was called Making Your First Comic.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
if you read the breakdown of what that
Okay. So
Oh,
making
that was
your
on
first-
Saturday, Daniel. That was at Saturday at 2:30.
That was the 2:30 one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right. Here we go. 2:30. Tooth hurdy. Wait, what the hell? Where's 2:30?
Are you on
There it
There
is.
she is.
Nope, that's not it.
Oh.
Yeah, here he goes. Making your first comic, the good, the bad, and the business side. So then it says, brand new comic creators, blank, and blank.
Yeah, this was a big panel, so just skip
It
over.
was a lot of people.
Yeah.
Discuss the process of making their first titles with blank. Blank comics partner, blank. Comics co-publisher, blank. And creative executives, blank. And George, almost said the right. Yeah, so that was it. That's it. It was just.
Okay, so you would think from that title that it should, be like, how would you go about making your first comic?
Right.
No, that was never
None of that.
discussed. All of these people just like talked about their careers.
Right. And I was
Like-
like, yeah, but what about your
I mean,
first comic?
Like, not even
though?
like, okay, so you're a regular writer. You write for television, or you write, fiction or nonfiction or whatever. How do you format writing a comic?
Yeah. Oh, honestly,
Are there specific apps that you use? Is it
right?
like anything at all that surrounds making your first comic?
Yeah.
Zero. Zilch.
I was gonna. I wanted to get up and ask that question because that actually is something I am curious about. I mean, I don't think I'll ever find myself writing a comic, but I'm just curious as to, and maybe you know this, Dino, but because like scripts, like when people are writing scripts, there's a very like specific format when you're
Yeah.
writing a script. But when you're writing a script for a comic, do you write it out like in Windows?
Yeah, that would have
like
been
with
cool.
the bubbles?
That would have been
Or-
cool stuff to talk about in the
I don't know.
making your
Yeah.
first comic panel.
I would think that would be in the first 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, because
honestly.
usually from what we understood, at least this is something that I did learn, is that the words usually come before the
Yeah,
the
words
visuals.
words come before visual. Yeah.
Yes, and it is important to, and so that this goes back to that poor guy that we met in the artist area, that your artist, picking your artist is extremely important to the success of your comic, because that is really the make it or break it moment. Like if your art is like just doesn't pop, or doesn't
Well, it
feels
doesn't
kinda
match like tonally how your
Ye-
writing is.
yeah,
that's-
exactly. It just it just kind of could ruin your whole vision. So but yeah, so knowing that the words come before the visuals, it's like, okay, so before the visuals come in, then how do the words look? Do they just look like is it just like
Do you like make giant like poster boards in your house and
yeah.
say like we want like three images here, and then this one is like blocked panels, and anyways,
We got none of that.
Let's move on and talk about the panels that we did enjoy and thought were interesting and cool. But
Yeah.
that was just weird to me. That I was like, then why are these panels
mean,
not
don't
just
get me
called
wrong.
Talk to Comic Book Animators and Writers?
Yeah. And don't get us wrong. I mean, they some of the things they were saying were very interesting and fun, and it was cool to hear them speak. But like, it was just like,
They just had nothing to do with the title of the panel.
yeah, which was like just like, oh, okay, cool,
That's
sweet,
weird.
sweet.
Daniel, what was your favorite panel that we went to?
Oh, the favorite panel?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Do you want me to tell you the other ones we went to?
Well, no, I remember.
You remember?
It was the Star Wars science
Mm-hmm.
and the
Cool.
the pitches one.
Pitches, Pilots, and Beyond.
Yeah.
Cool.
And and
Well,
the Lord of the Rings. Honestly,
Oh.
because I'm such a fucking Lord of the Rings nerd, I think it was the Lord of the Rings one because that felt like the most Comic-Con.
Mine was
one
too.
that we were at.
It was so
Yeah.
dope. They had so many like insider things and like photos of the set and everything.
And it was exactly the title of it was exactly what it was.
That alone puts it at near the
Right?
I was like, thank you.
I just was like nerding out by like how nerdy they all were.
yes.
Which like that was like exciting to me beyond belief. Like
The moderator didn't know exactly what he was talking about.
the
though,
moderator and one of the other guys do a Lord of the Rings podcast.
but, yeah.
And the other guy is like a frickin' encyclopedia
Oh my
of
God,
every
yeah.
Lord of the Rings, like everything.
yeah.
So he was
he, like,
able
knows
to
every
like
name for
look at
Gandalf,
these.
you know.
Yeah, he was able to like look at these photos and like what we know of the Lord of the Rings Amazon series that's coming
Oh
out.
yeah, we've only seen the
Yes.
one frame of it.
And
Right.
he literally is able to tell like what time period it's going
Yeah.
to be in and
Well, I
all
mean,
of the
The
details.
second age,
and
generally.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, I also knew like looking at that photo like what it was, but like
Yeah.
because at least. I mean, the show itself is supposed to be about the second age, but what's
Right.
confusing is the first frame
that
that they showed
frame
us
they
is
show
actually
is
from
not
the first
second
age.
age. Yeah.
And which kind of is alluding to the fact that we're gonna get like a
prologue.
very Lord of the Rings
Expansive
prologue,
Yes.
Yeah, maybe even like the first couple of episodes are
which would
Prologue.
be sick.
So yeah, that one was really exciting to me, and that
And
felt
they even
like
showed
very
us stuff that we weren't allowed to take pictures of because it said, "Oh, we'll get in trouble."
Well, yeah, you're not allowed to take pictures at any of the panels. Apparently, we learned
Yeah, which I
that.
didn't know,
But
but we did.
yeah, they showed a bunch of stuff, and
We
they
did.
we did not that though. They literally were like, if actually anyone at Amazon were to know that we had these photos, we could actually get in like hella trouble. So,
Yeah. Like, don't do that.
oh,
They did make a funny, like, they kind of did a dig at Star Wars fans, and I was like, well, yeah, you're not
Yeah.
It's
completely
probably earned at this point.
oh no, it
Yeah, they're just
absolutely
like,
was
let's not be
earned.
like Star Wars fans, guys, and let's all be, like, really nice to each other about, like...
I want to find out what a toxic Lord of the Rings fan is because I've only like me and my best friend JJ. I mean, we grew up Tolkien fans. But
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met somebody who
I
I would
don't
consider
think-
like a toxic Lord
I
of the
don't
Rings.
think
No,
as
me
a
neither.
I don't think as a fan base they're a toxic group, which is really lovely.
It is. It's really, really refreshing, yeah.
Maybe when The Hobbit came around, then things got toxic.
It's possible.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
contributed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, also same.
But yeah, that one was really cool. They just had
Cool.
some really interesting things to say and to show. I also Daniel was on a panel.
I was on a panel!
I was going to get to that. Amazing.
So Daniel occasionally goes on Perception Studios Twitch stream and
Yes, if you're on
does
Twitch.
does D&D gaming. Have you done other types of games or only D&D?
It's usually kind of it's a role playing game.
All
in
D&D
general,
adjacent, yeah, RPGs.
Yeah,
And-
D&D adjacent, yeah, for sure.
And
Actually, we've never played official D&D.
Oh, interesting. I didn't
Yeah,
know
we've
that.
never done 5e on the show.
Oh.
It's usually some kind of adjacent.
Homebrew, like shorter
Homebrewy.
situation.
Totally.
Um,
but the fun part is that it's with puppets, which is
who
very
are
fun.
hella cute
Puppets.
and yeah. So Daniel,
I myself wasn't a puppet.
No,
but
Daniel
I
didn't-
have
didn't-
puppet friends.
yeah, Daniel had puppet friends.
Daniel's only friends are puppets.
Correct.
Um.
Mhm.
So Daniel, tell us about your experience being on your very first Comic-Con panel.
Well, the nice thing about it was I didn't really. I mean, truthfully, I wasn't really nervous up until like the very right until it started, and I was like, oh balls, here we go, because like the nice part about it is that they didn't want us to prepare anything, which in of itself I was like, oh, are you sure?
Yeah. So they
but, like,
wanted you to be they wanted you to go in blind and
yeah, super
prepared
fresh.
to have a fun improv game. basically.
Yeah, so that's basically kind of like what the Perception Studio ends up being. It's like just a giant yes and game, and it just gets more and more ridiculous. And I mean, obviously, we had to edit ourselves at Comic-Con because apparently everything there needs to be PG-13.
What was the
Perception
name?
Studio's
What
Twitch
was the
page is
name
always
of
very
your?
filthy. We're just like fuck this and fuck that. Burr, 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 burr.
What was
but
the
we
name
were-
of your panel, Daniel?
Oh, the name of the panel was. What a great question that is. What was the name of our panel?
I
The
love
name
that
of our panel-
he is looking in the Comic-Con
You
notebook
are the
because
very
he does
thing-
not
you-
remember the name
No,
of the panel
you are the
he
very
was on.
thing. You were the very thing you were just criticizing. You have no idea what was happening.
A little bit.
Legitimately. Okay, here we go. It is. Wait, where the hell
Nope.
is it? Oh, here it is. Pop culture fantasy draft.
Yes.
It says fantasy drafts and pop culture collide in this debate-styled panel where participants pick a team of unusual pop culture characters to overcome a slew of ridiculous audience-chosen scenarios.
Oh, I love that.
Actually,
That's
part of
great.
that is not true. On stage will be puppets Chunk and Cucumber with Cole Garrison, Daniel Dawson. It says Daniel Dawson, actor and content creator. Hilarious.
Well, you do that.
I do create some content. It's all garbage. But yeah, so that is pretty much the gist of it. Although the characters and the situations were not picked out by the audience like it said it was. Those were picked out by the people, but the audience picked the
Items.
the weapons.
Yeah, the
Yes, and
weapons or
items.
items in the different scenarios.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like we were very lucky. We got to pick President Loki on our team.
mhm.
Cool.
Amongst I think Tariel from The Hobbit, who she's like,
oh,
you know,
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. And
Because she doesn't
who else
actually
do we
exist.
have? The what? Oh yeah, she
She
doesn't
doesn't
exist.
exist.
She doesn't
I know,
technically
very
exist.
sad.
Yep.
Yeah, she's not in the books. Just there to add a couple extra hours to the film that wasn't necessary. God bless
Just
it.
a love story that was just a love triangle that was unnecessary. But anyway,
Just
continue.
so unnecessary.
Sorry, my toxicity is coming out. I apologize.
But she was on our team, and
I can't remember who
yeah.
else you had.
199 from
Oh
Squid
yeah,
Game,
you had Squid Games guy.
Okay.
who was a really sweet guy. It was so sad. Oh, I loved him.
I think that was
in the
it.
show.
Everybody had 3, right?
We had one other one, and it was Cucumber. We were
Oh,
like being
yeah.
funny that we we wanted to actually pick one of our own team members. But anyways, we inevitably lost because the other people were so rude and said, I think that they. What did they say? They said something about like that that we were disqualified because Tariel. Oh, it was the Olympics. That's what it was. Like who would win at archery? And we're like, oh, we're gonna fucking win this because of Tariel. And then they're like, well, technically you can't be a professional in the Olympics, so you're
That's also
disqualified.
like absolute bullshit. Everyone who's in the
Thank you!
Everyone who's in the Olympics is a professional athlete. That's
Thank
why they're
you.
at
Correct.
the Olympics.
I was so angry about that, and then the audience, of course, was all on board with it. They're like, oh, I was like, boo.
Riot.
But
Riot.
the puppets won, and everyone knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
It's
And
rigged. The game
it
is
was
rigged.
for the best. It was for the best.
Yeah. Damn puppets.
But it was super entertaining. Yeah, the game was rigged. It was.
100% rigged.
But
Yeah.
Daniel did great, and it was a really exciting to see you up there on
Oh,
the big
bitch!
stage.
We didn't even say that day we were cosplayers. Yes.
As who?
I was Captain Marvel.
And I was Tanalier Tavon, the collector.
They look
and-
so good.
We'll
man.
post some pics on our Instagram.
Yes.
Which again, I have to give a huge shout out to Chris Villain once again for being the brains and the bronze behind my collector cosplay because it was my very first one. Holy crap! But yeah, we did it.
So good.
And
Built
I
it
would
from the
like
ground
to
up.
and I would like to formally thank Alice Yu from procosplay.com.
All the way from China.
That really is her name. We were emailing.
I mean, that shit was legit. It looked so good.
Yeah, it turned out great. I was so happy with it. And
Like the details, though.
Yeah.
It was like, she really did it.
But we, on the day that we cosplayed, we walked into the the main hall and we're like, oh, I straightened my hair, by the way. And I was like, I'm going to
so trippy.
I was like, I'm
So
going to
you with
get
the
hella
straight hair?
sweaty. And it's going to start like curling back up. So we need to take pictures now at the beginning of the day
Yes.
while the straight hair is still intact. And
Before it becomes gay again.
yeah, my
Right.
hair, like me, has a hard time
Right.
staying straight. But we were like, oh, we should go by these like step and repeat walls and obviously the like Comic-Con background and stuff.
Yeah, there was like a green screen,
And
too.
yeah, we became like famous at Comic-Con for a
We
second.
became Comic-Con celebrities, yes.
Unbelievable.
All
So
of these
many people are like,
were
oh,
just
can I
like,
get your picture? Oh, can I get your picture?
but it's like so weird because like they don't always want to take a picture like with you. They just want to take a picture of you,
Of you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
so strange.
It's like they're just collecting pictures of cosplays.
Yeah. But there were a couple of like pro photographers that
Ooh.
we-
Have you gotten an email yet?
they haven't emailed me back, but
Damn it, I
in a
want
couple
that.
in a couple of days if he hasn't written anything I'll write another one because that guy took
Yeah.
really good pictures.
I
So
want
Cool.
those pictures.
Cool.
yeah, so that was super fun. So we were the Collector and Captain Marvel all the
The
live
team
long
up that
day.
nobody ever knew they wanted.
Yeah.
So great.
It was super fun and honestly like
What I did notice is that the kids were obsessed with Alyssa.
yeah, the
Oh,
little
I
kids
bet.
like love Captain Marvel.
Yeah, like everybody just wanted to take a picture with Alyssa.
and the grown-ups like
And
Daniel.
I got the grown-ups liked me, yeah. Right. Well, because I mean, like you know, what kid is just like,
The
oh yeah, 10
Collector.
Leaves of Bond, that's my favorite.
Our kind of kids.
You're right. You're 100%
Um,
correct.
No, it was
Yes.
it was super fun, and I had a really great time doing it. And I
Yeah,
was
same.
getting like I was starting to get like ideas for what I want to do for Celebration. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I think
I'm gonna be a BB-8 with a butt.
please be BB-8 with a butt. That would be
I
great.
I wouldn't get caught dead with you if you do that.
Oh, lousy. Yeah, going back to the panels, I think Lord of the Rings was my favorite, and my second
Yeah.
favorite was the Science of Star Wars. I thought that was really
Yeah, that was
really
so
interesting.
fun.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I will say I was like exhausted, and also
It was at the very
room
end of
was,
the
like,
day.
nice and warm, and
Yeah.
I was like, you know, in
Getting
my
a little
fur.
sleepy.
We
I was
went at like
"Ooh," and
7 p.m.
They all have like
on
professor
Saturday.
voices
They
too.
did.
Ah.
Because they're all
So I was
literal like PhD doctors.
Yeah.
So,
I was like, wow, this is really.
but it was like
Really
really cool, and
comforting.
like I've never thought about like how ultra specific Star Wars is, like with all
Oh,
the
yeah.
like creatures and how
Totally.
they.
I was obsessed with the conversations that they were having about these because they dug so deep.
Yeah, it was fascinating to hear a bunch of like actual doctors like
Yeah.
talk about
That's
like
amazing.
Star Wars creatures and characters. So that was really cool.
Talking about the fish people with the.
Oh
with
yeah,
the
they talked
sweaters.
about the fish lady from
They talked about
Mandalorian.
fish lady,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they were
Cool.
like, she's obviously like a super evolved version of a frog, not a fish. Sorry, I said fish, but I meant
Yeah,
frog.
with the frog. Yeah.
Amphibian.
But you know, the same like biological like thing of her guarding her eggs, and yeah, it was like so fascinating,
Cool.
and
Somebody came up with a question that I thought was so interesting, and what was it? Was about the.
was
it
it
was
about
about
the
the-
midichlorians? That question?
Yeah, actually, yes,
Oh
that
my
was a
God.
great question.
That should be a panel.
Yeah, it was great.
The people up there were like, we
Oh.
could talk about this for a really long time, but it was like the last question or something.
Yeah,
Huh.
it was really great. And there's another guy that asked a question about oh gosh, that like what are they called? The Sarlaccs. Is that what they're called? No.
Sarlacc pit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It was
Sarlacc,
Sarlacc, and about how it takes them so long to digest food,
Uh-huh.
and how
Is there any evidence that there like could be a creature like that that's like able to
that could survive
survive
over that much time?
that takes that long to digest something?
Yeah, and they was kind of like referring to like bugs that like cocoon and then like become like a
Sure.
butterfly or something like that, and he's just like he was like surmising that maybe the Sarlacc like is in like part of like a metamorphosis, and that he could turn it to be like this beautiful butterfly, which is
God.
like I love that
Or
idea
like a
so much.
terrifying butterfly that still
Yeah,
has like
right.
all the teeth and everything.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, they went in real deep with this science, and also
can't
not just
remember
about, like,
what the-
animals.
I can't remember what the midichlorians question was.
Yeah, what was that question? It was so interesting.
Dang, we should have.
It was about you know what it was, and actually this is where because they were like trying to say just trying to relate it to like is there any evidence out there for like something like that being like something that could actually happen? And I think they were
Oh yeah, her
they-
answer
they
was
were-
like her answer was about like bacteria basically.
microbes.
Mhm.
Yeah, because really like we as humans. We actually have more microbes and bacteria in our body than we do actual cells, which is insane to think
It's
about.
insane. Yeah.
And there's
But- so you start to
evidence that
think-
certain humans have different types of bacteria, which is why some people are able to fight off infection easier. Some people,
Right.
Oh, right. Just in your gut alone.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
yes.
That
I mean,
so.
yeah.
So that was like such a fascinating like thing to think about, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how have I never really thought about like how science correlates to Star Wars? And then my mind was like, I'm tired, I'm
Well,
Captain
one of the
Marvel.
scientists,
That's really cool.
one of the scientists even said that there was a study being done that suggested that, mitochondria, like
Hmm.
there's evidence that at some point that there might have been some kind of like symbiosis like
Mhm.
between like the mitochondria and like a person's mind, so like they could sort of like talk to each other like a midichlorian would, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there's a
Um,
reason that they call the gut like the second brain
Yeah, right.
because
Yeah.
I think that it's just a really fascinating.
It's like,
We
are you
have
you?
no-
Because,
yeah.
like, are you really you? Because you are really more bacteria than you are you. But I guess that's sort of like part of who you are. I don't. It's a weird.
We are.
Are you
scratching the
you or
surface.
are you your bacteria? Bacteria.
Yeah, bacteria.
Bacteria.
Bacteria. But yeah, really, really super
Cool.
nerdy, wonderful conversations.
Yeah, I am crossing my fingers that they will be at Celebration as well and
Same.
do something at Celebration so we can go back and nerd out because they had like easily 10 slides in their presentation that they didn't even touch.
Yeah. One of them was of the dead children in the Jedi Temple. I was like, what was that conversation going to be about?
God.
There was a guy that does pyro for Lucasfilms on that
Oh,
panel,
yeah.
and he talked
Oh,
about
cool.
how it's
The
like
science
the
behind
science
that
behind
stuff.
pyro. So that was pretty cool.
Very, very cool. Yeah, talking about like one of the explosions that they like, did in slow motion that literally was just like a poof, and then
Oh
like,
yeah, and he was
in
like,
real
did we?
life, it
He
was
was
just
like,
a
did we
poof.
get it? And they were like, we'll find out
We'll fi-
tomorrow because they shot on film, so they had to like
Yeah.
go back and see if it actually worked, and it did. So
Apparently it did. Yeah. Was that the one in episode 1 or
I think so.
I think it was the one where they blew up the station.
Yes, yes,
The Trade Federation
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the ship.
ship. I think.
yeah. But he was saying
Um,
like there's like a rule of threes in pyro, and there has to be like 3 separate effects that happen at all different times for it to actually be successful. And that one of the main things that they use in explosions is dry pasta.
Oh yeah, right. I remember
Interesting.
that.
Because,
yeah, it was interesting.
because,
they painted pasta. Yeah.
yeah, he said that like, it goes so quickly, obviously, the explosion, that you need like, a lot of it. And I think he said
Yeah.
something like, like 1/8 of the pasta is like actually like can actually be
Is visible.
seen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it like blows past the camera so
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
So
She blinded me with science.
Anyways, those were the Comic-Con panels. It was really
Pretty
fun. We had a fun time.
Very, very fun.
And yeah, we didn't do any we didn't go to any autograph signings or anything. It's to be honest, they're
Oh, yeah, there was only one that was I was really looking forward to, but I mean, I didn't even know it was happening until I was there.
Yeah, we
but
sort of missed
Data
that.
from Star Trek, The Next
cool.
Generation was there, and I was like, I love
that'd
him.
have been cool.
But
I
he
saw
was
John
all
Cena
sold
was
out.
there.
Yes, he
talking
came
about,
to the masquerade to
I
talk
guess that
about.
was
Cool.
was this a surprise?
It was a
right?
surprise. He was not billed.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
And
came,
it was the one thing we didn't go to. We didn't go to the masquerade because we were exhausted, and
it was 2 hours. That's too
it
long.
was a long thing. Yeah,
That's long.
So, but for
It
the
was-
next time,
The way that it was described to me, I was like, that feels like a summer camp talent show, and I don't think I can go.
We've been
but
there.
there were cash prizes though.
I still don't think I can go.
I know. For another time.
Yes, another time. Another time. Another place. But should we talk about the trailers now?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
What a segue.
I know that was not
Yeah,
very
well-
graceful at all, but we've been talking
No.
for an hour now. We should probably.
I know.
No, let's cut
Yeah,
to
we
the
should.
chase. So yeah, we as we've been hinting at over our last few episodes, there's a lot coming down the pipe, and we're finally getting looks at said things.
Yay!
We've had a full length Boba Fett trailer, but then we got another teaser a couple days ago, and I've said it before. Anytime Tamara Morrison speaks,
You bow to the ground.
it's just important.
Yeah,
It's just
there's
important
power
when he
in
says
that
things.
voice.
I am Boba Fett.
Oh, yes.
My
Yes,
God.
you
And
are.
just millions of collective boners.
Oh.
And my big takeaway from that trailer, it really
Oh,
doesn't it doesn't give a ton away, but was literally the second shot of the trailer
Mhm.
is him in a Bacta tank. So we get the answer
Yes.
to
Yeah.
how he's regenerating himself.
Already
after,
answering some questions.
And we
Right.
asked that question after we got
Correct.
the last trailer. We were like,
Yep.
we gotta know, how
his,
does he
his,
heal?
his skin has color again, and he doesn't look as scarred. And
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
getting the royal treatment now.
Yeah.
after being partially digested,
Mhm.
that series comes out December 29th. It looks sick.
It does.
I cannot.
It really
I
looks
am
sick.
so excited. I'm so excited for a live action Star Wars. We haven't had one since Mando.
Dang it.
And I know we've talked about it a little bit, but there's been trepidation on can we justify the existence of a Boba Fett series? Is there too much overlap with a Mando series? And I
Nope.
think I'm beginning to really buy into no, this is going to be a grimy
Necessary.
criminal.
It's gonna be its own
underworld
thing. Yeah.
Godfather in space.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't wait.
I mean, we're definitely going to get some overlap, it seems, but
Well, because they're
but-
Mandalorians, but
Yeah.
sure.
he's very different. Boba is I think the line he uses is, "I'm going to rule with respect." The difference
Right.
between him and Mando is, I think Mando is actually good, and I think Boba is he has a code of honor, but this isn't a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in D&D, he's probably he's
He's like
neutral
neutral,
good.
chaotic. Oh, you don't think he's chaotic?
Ah. Oh no, you know what? I would say he was lawful neutral. That's what I would call him.
Lawful neutral.
These are just words to me, but
Yeah, because he's a lawful neutral would be. Oh no. What is
I don't
Robin
think
Hood?
so. I don't think-
Robin Hood's just neutral, isn't he?
I don't know.
You know, Robin from the rich to give to the poor.
Yeah. I
That's
know who Robin Hood is.
wait,
Yeah. You know what I mean?
he was the talking
You
fox,
know
right?
Robin Hood.
The talking
Diddly
fox.
dee.
Get out
What
of
is
here!
the-
Oh my god.
What is the...
Oh man. But yeah, he's he's somewhere in that gray area.
Yeah, let's say that Dino understands all the D&D
Yes,
terms.
I
He
understand
just-
those terms. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, gray area.
Mhm.
Yeah, just the more we see.
He's definitely not bad.
No, but he's done some bad
He's-
stuff.
Yeah, but he's definitely not good either. Yeah.
Yeah,
He worked for he worked for Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
We've seen him now against the Empire, but he's a bounty hunter.
And this is
Mhm.
what
He
a
doesn't
neutral
care.
person would do.
Yeah.
and a lawful neutral one. And the reason why I say lawful is because he has a code. He has
Yes.
ethics that he
Yeah.
abides
Yeah. Okay.
by.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
No,
he is willing to work for the shitty side if
Mhm.
you know if it serves him
right.
Yes.
and serves his purpose. Yeah.
I'm freaking stoked for that show.
Me
It
Can't
just
wait for that.
looks stunning. It looks like it's gonna be freaking like gorgeous to watch.
Oh,
Can't
Robert
wait.
Rodriguez is gonna kill it because
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
got the episode that reintroduced Boba in
Yep.
his full glory.
Yeah.
which
Uh,
was sick.
which was
And I
one of
hope,
the highlights of last year.
and I hope with all of my heart that we get a behind the scenes video of him playing with action figures in the backyard again with specific parts of this Boba Fett series.
Same.
That's really
totally same.
what I
Yes.
want.
That was fucking cute.
If you don't know what we're talking about, in the Disney Gallery documentary, Robert Rodriguez talks about how he sort of mapped out action sequences in the episode of Mando that he directed with his kids' action figures, like in the backyard, and was like, I'll place them here and I'll place them here, and then there will be like a blow up here, and then there'll be like a pew pew here. Yeah, so I hope that he has
So
more backyard footage. That's
Yes.
really the
just
most
wonderful.
charming thing I've like ever seen.
Truly.
So that's
and-
Boba Fett.
So that's Boba
So-
Fett.
And
Oh,
since we were last together, we got the final trailer for Spider-Man: Far From Home. This was about 12, 13 days ago, but
Yep. yeah.
it's still very
And-
relevant.
Listen, I was not a believer. I was not a believer, but mostly because I was trying to protect myself.
I
yes,
understand.
be
I,
honest.
We
I
understand.
understand.
I was
But
trying to
there's
protect
just
myself.
no way.
There's
But-
just
It's
it's happening.
in the bag.
It's
Yeah.
happening.
And
Yeah.
well, and we've all
Sorry,
kind of
and
come to
just what I was saying. I mean, just to make sure that I'm assuming people probably know what I'm talking about, but it's like Toby and Andrew are in.
They're
Well,
in
and
it.
I was going to give the disclaimer that like we've all come to this conclusion, but anything we talk about now, if you don't even want to hear speculation about this
You're
movie,
not listening or
sign off.
watching
now.
it. Yeah. No.
Yeah. But they were
And yeah, I
edited
guess
out of that
technically this is
trailer.
all still speculation.
It is because we weren't there, but
Right.
this is like they were edited out of this trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very.
They were in several shots of this trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
There-
haven't
there's
talked
no doubt.
since then.
There's no
but
doubt.
There was. I mean, probably at this point, most of y'all have seen this, but there was a Brazilian trailer that didn't
Yes.
quite get edited as much as the other trailers did, and yeah, somebody got fired for sure. But
Lizard,
I mean, they don't.
Lizard gets kicked in the face by somebody who is not there.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
and it's
That's
and also
so-
just like if you really do like look at the frame, like it does. I mean, yes, it is cool that like Spider-Man is taking on 3 creatures at the same time, but like truthfully though, the way that frame is framed, it looks like it was made for like a 3-on-3
Mhm.
type
Correct.
of a situation.
Oh my gosh.
Also-
You guys, I just thought about how freaking electric it's going to be in the movie theater.
Okay,
Oh,
so
It's gonna be insane.
the movie and
Tickets
I can
are already
attest to
selling
this.
out, by the way.
Yes,
It's
like-
well, so I waited 2 hours to get them on Fandango because they crashed.
Oh my god!
But I read today that it broke the record for
For pre-sale.
pre-sales of a movie
Sure.
ever.
Of course it did.
Yeah, Daniel and I are going to try to go together.
On
I
the 17th.
yes, I don't know. The hype for this one is
Pretty high.
well,
it's pretty high.
John Watts, the director, called it the end game of Spider-Man.
oh my gosh.
Which is
he
Well, I
said
mean,
you could
Tom-
call this
Tom
Spider-Man
Holland-
Endgame.
Tom Holland has even said in interviews, and they've been real careful about him this time, obviously. But he said, "This
yeah, you
movie,
haven't seen very many interviews
this
of him
movie
lately.
is going to crush people."
It's nuts.
Which is crazy. And although interestingly enough, I mean, it's called the End Game, but like we're getting allegedly another trilogy.
Yes, I
from
was
Tom
going to get
Holland.
to that. Amy Pascal, who's one of the senior executives at Sony, has said that they are working on the next trilogy of Spider-Man movies that will be set in the MCU,
Now, I don't really understand why they feel like they need to do trilogies.
Well,
but, I mean,
because I don't know about trilogy, but if you want to know how they're going to bring Venom and Morbius into the MCU, you now have
There
your
it
answer.
is. There it
yeah,
is.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
These next
too,
3
yeah.
movies are going to be in the MCU, but it's going to be their way of basically dragging all of Sony's other characters into the MCU as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they'll all get their own introduction.
Mhm.
They'll have like the spooky characters, and then
Because
they'll
I
have
keep
the...
forgetting about the Morbius movie.
Yeah.
Just in all the hubbub, that got another trailer recently as well. and
Right.
Oh, I
Michael
haven't watched
Keaton
the
is in
second.
that movie.
Oh
And
yeah.
he is-
Oh yeah.
Like,
Frickin' Michael Keaton.
Gotta explain that.
Y'all. Let's talk about Michael Keaton and how he is still kicking butt and taking names.
he's
so
having
good.
the career of
He's
like
the career.
the second wind, the second wind.
I actually don't know how I'm going to react seeing him
as the bat.
as back in the bat. I actually don't. I
Yeah.
think that I'm going
and
to.
he can do it too because he just
Oh.
he's done Vulture. Like he's been
Right.
like,
he'll
he's-
be
he can do
he's
it.
gonna be great. I cannot wait for that Flash movie. I cannot wait.
And Birdman.
Oh well, yeah, Birdman.
What does it? I was about to say like, so Birdman was what 7 years ago, and
Mhm.
Has it been
that whole
7
thing
years
is about
already?
him
Oh my
being
God.
kind of an older superhero,
Yeah.
but
Right.
was kind of a metaphor for his own career. I was like,
Right.
here we are.
Yeah,
and
he
he's
really
still freaking doing
could
it.
not
so
be further on the
So
nose.
great.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh wow.
Mhm.
So excited. Oh
But
gosh.
but Spider-Man in particular, just that lineup of actors all in the same movie is going to be out of this world. And I was telling
Right.
Alyssa and Daniel a couple nights ago, I was because it had been even longer since I had seen the Tobey Maguire movies, but I went back and watched Andrew Garfield's 2 movies, The Amazing Spider-Man.
I'm
1
about
and
to
2.
go through those.
And we can maybe do a little episode where we kind
yeah,
of
that'd be fun. Let's
rehash
do a whole
those.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
Like,
episode and like
Let's do a Spider-Man recap into
into the movie.
No Way Home.
Yeah.
Very
But,
sensible.
I my thoughts about those movies aside, I thought Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are
Oh, they're
absolutely
great.
electric.
They are
Oh,
so
yeah.
great together and great in those parts.
He is such a terrific Spider-Man. I don't
This
know
is
if
what
he's the best.
I've heard the meme. The meme was that Toby was the best Peter Parker and Andrew was the best Spider-Man, and Toby is the only one who's been able to like do both well.
Oh, Tom. You
Tom.
know,
Tom,
is the-
Tom.
I think I would say Tom is probably the best crossover, but
I think
But
that we
gosh.
get that in a way, definitely like in same relation to like Batman. You know,
Yeah.
who's like a great Bruce Wayne and who's a great Batman
Yes,
and who
But
is
I
able
mean,
to do both.
totally.
Andrew is just such a friggin' force of nature as an actor, and
He
and
is.
even I think of even Sally Field as Aunt May, and all these characters I had forgotten. I was like, oh my god, like this was so well cast.
this one body and this one life. That's why I take Boniva.
Why is that the Sally Field quote that you have?
we have to
Of
go.
all
We
of
have to
the
go. I have
thousand,
to go.
thank you, Dino.
We have to
God,
go.
of all of the brilliant things that she has done in her life,
Or I'm thinking of like
my mind.
the whole
Thinking
time,
of,
the whole time.
Martha Lincoln. Don't you threaten me. You do it. You
Oh, I
do it. Lock me up.
love her character.
Oh gosh,
she's so brilliant.
yeah. Those movies are great, and I love the idea of us doing like an absolute like Spider-Man marathon of
Spider-Verse, yeah.
all the movies before we go in to No Way Home.
But whatever this movie is setting up, and we've heavily speculated that it's very much tied to Doctor Strange and even to a degree what Wanda will be up to. And what we know has happened with Loki as well, just kind of the cracking open of the multiverse. That's how we're going to get these Sony characters into the fold. And it's
Right.
also how I think you're going to see the X-Men eventually. And like,
Yep.
it's all happening
Yeah.
now. Like
Yeah.
the engine, we've been waiting for it, and now it's here. And
There's
it's
a
going to be
lot of
so
expectations.
bonkers.
Yeah, it's nuts.
But what's crazy is they haven't shied away from it. It's not like they've tried to tamper our expectations. Like
Yeah.
the director has come out and said this movie's a big deal, and we're like, okay,
Oh,
all
all
right.
right. Okay,
I
then.
believe you.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I'm making a prediction. I'm wondering if one of the Spider-Mans has got to go.
Well,
Yeah, I could see it.
that could definitely happen.
I could see it. And also, my prediction, and it's not unique to me because I think many other people made this assessment when they see the shot in the trailer, but there's a shot of MJ falling off the
Yes.
building that
Yep. That looks
looks a lot like a certain shot from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Is she gonna
And-
make it, or is she too busy because she's doing Dune?
And
she's fine. She's in
does
7.5
well,
minutes of Dune.
Yeah,
My
right.
prediction-
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
my prediction is that a certain Spider-Man who failed once does not fail this time in saving the girl, that perhaps Andrew Garfield indeed does swoop in and save her.
And then he bangs her.
No,
And then
he
Daniel,
bang-
God,
and
why
then
did you
really
make the
awkward.
sweet moment horrible?
But this is basically his catharsis for letting Gwen Stacy fall to her death.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope we get that.
Some redemption.
Or MJ shatters her head on the ground. and
Yeah.
they're-
Or that. And he's like, I did it again. I couldn't do it twice.
Why in my mind, like when he has that breakdown, is he singing Chandelier?
Yeah.
and
And then Toby goes back to his universe as the only one whose girlfriend isn't dead.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Woof.
Well, yikes.
Also,
and
the only
yay.
time I ever hear that song in my head now is the Toadstool version. Have you heard that?
No.
You've never heard the Toadstool versions of it? Oh my
I
God.
don't think
There's a few
so.
things you need to look up, and it's Toadstool is singing Chandelier.
Wait, no, I have. I
you
have seen
and
that.
Toadstool is singing All I Want for Christmas
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
You.
yeah, yeah. I have seen. I have seen.
All
that.
I want for Christmas.
Yikes.
It hurts.
is special. Very special. Do yourself a favor out there, everybody, all two of you who are listening still.
Also, before we close this up, just a bit of news that I thought was interesting, and we'll touch on this once we kind of get back into Star Wars mode here at the end of December. But curiously, within the last couple weeks,
I'm
the
curious.
the Lucasfilm film slate, like motion picture slate, has been wiped clean. Like
What?
they stopped release dates on Rogue Squadron and
Are they just redoing the whole thing?
well, I think they're just
They're just
pausing them.
paused for now.
and-
Interesting.
because they're finding, I think they've now come to the conclusion, and I think this is a good conclusion, that Star Wars on TV right now is doing really well
Yeah.
Sure.
and will
Yeah.
continue
Oh,
to
so
do
you're
really
just
well.
talking about for the films.
The films. Like,
yeah.
I think they finally came to a conclusion that the Star Wars films have stopped feeling like an event, and we need to get that feeling back. So,
yes.
like, let's press pause and
Focus
Wait
on the
about
TV
5
stuff
years.
for now.
focus on TV and make. And it's so true. And this is kind of where it's like some of the problems with Solo came in. Was like, okay, Disney had promised us a Star Wars movie every year, and I was like, that's not it. Like,
No.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
we all love it so
Of
much,
course, but that's not it. No.
but do you remember like when we were sitting in the theater for Rise of Skywalker before it started, and just that buzz of energy before the Lucasfilm logo comes up, and it feels like no matter what comes after that moment, like you cannot replicate that, and
No.
you don't want to cheapen it. Like you don't want to take it for granted.
You're like holding your breath almost. Yeah.
Right.
It's intense.
So I have no problem with them going, you know what? Like TV's taking care of it. We've got literary endeavors. Let's focus on, if I'm the head of Disney, I'm like, let Marvel kind of carry the banner for films right now. And then
Yeah.
when Star Wars does inevitably come back to the big screen, it's going to be nuts.
Well, you make an interesting point, because I'm curious too whether or not because I mean I think we've sort of, I mean I think that John Williams has sort of made it pretty clear that he's done with Star Wars. Granted,
Yeah.
that could be like just like he says that, but I I'm pretty sure
getting
he's
close.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, I'm sure he's probably assumedly has been like, sure, you could use the themes if you want to, but I'm just wondering whether or not they're still searching for whatever that next Star Wars sound is going to be, or if they're going to try to just find somebody to replicate.
It'll
that
be
same
well.
sound,
You want my prediction? It'll be Michael Giacchino.
Yeah, I agree.
which is
Like he
did
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Oh, I got you.
And
Sure.
he's doing the Batman currently.
Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man.
He's done the Spider-Man. Everything.
killing
He's
it.
done. He did Up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
done
Up.
everything.
Tons of
the music
Pixar.
always makes me cry.
He's
Yeah,
the
Ratatouille. The Ratatouille
yeah.
score is ridiculously cool.
He's the spiritual successor to John Williams, and
So, yeah, I mean, if that is the case, I wonder. I wonder if we're gonna get the same, like, opener. If they're gonna like.
oh yeah, no, we
Oh no
definitely will.
no!
Yes,
That will still be there.
that's not-
That's
But I mean,
they can't
and
not.
that doesn't belong to John Williams. Like it is John Williams, but it doesn't
But
belong
it's-
to John Williams.
it's not
yeah,
his
no,
anymore.
The themes I
Yeah.
think are owned now by Disney.
No, none of that is changing. I think it's just I think we overplayed our hand. Let's back off. Let's
Yeah.
make this special again. Let's make it
I
and
agree.
take time to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hopefully, that's what it is.
I think. Well, I absolutely think that's what it is. And
Yeah.
they're smart. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy's a smart cookie. Whether you just agree or disagree with her creative decisions, she's been around the block.
Yeah.
Or
Like
her
she-
COVID protocols, because apparently she's not wearing a mask. I don't know.
well, I bet she's quadruple vaxxed at this point. But
One could only
She
hope.
probably has like some microchip that none of us know about yet,
I feel like if anyone doesn't need to be masked at this point, it's probably her.
right?
But,
Yeah, it's I would agree with that speculation, and
Yeah, you're probably right.
that I mean
It's
at
the most
least
likely,
at
and
least
they're usually the
from
most likely,
at least
right.
from the stuff that we know it has release dates. It looks like they are putting the Disney Plus TV stuff at the top of the priority
and when I
list
do
right
say
now.
these films, we're talking about the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron,
Yes. Right.
Taika Waititi's unnamed movie, and then the rumored Ryan Johnson trilogy. So all of this,
Right.
they don't have release dates at this point. So I don't know if that means they're done or if it's just being pushed. I would guess pushed. But
yeah, and maybe we all know that quote unquote creative differences thing that
Yeah.
gets thrown in a lot. Maybe there's
Mhm.
some of that going on. We don't know.
there it
Yeah.
definitely could be. I doubt it happened with all three of them, honestly.
Oh no,
I
I just meant for like one of the
Totally.
three. Yeah.
I think strategically they're like, let's push it 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, Dino, where did you get this info, by the way?
It's
Hollywood
been
Reporter.
Yeah, it's been on like a ton
Variety.
of articles that those projects have been like
Just
the release
been-
dates just don't exist anymore.
they don't exist anymore.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
But there's no concrete answer as to what that means for them. But I would imagine.
Well, I know why, and I'm not telling you.
Well,
Oh,
good.
fun.
But there is so much Star Wars right now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
it boils down to. Is
Well,
like,
I
there's so
am
much friggin' Star
okay
Wars.
with the faucet setting
Yes.
on Star Wars right now.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Well, and
that is-
isn't it amazing? Like, yes, there is so much Star Wars, but even just how different the feeling is, like watching Mandalorian, or
Yeah.
watching these Disney Plus shows. They are their own entity. It's the same universe, but like it's not the same experience as going and seeing the film. It's something entirely different and something entirely great. But
Yeah, and honestly, and I don't know if you guys have gotten there yet, but like the Star Wars logo opener, like I was like, oh, this new thing, like this is probably not going to catch on, but now I get so excited when I hear that. I love it.
Yeah. With the
It's grown on me.
flashing like
the
Yeah,
helmets.
like the rainbow
helmets
flashing.
and- yeah, it's
thing.
like-
yeah,
yeah, it's cute. I like it.
It's
I like
fine.
it. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
So, well, if you made it this far, congratulations. We just kind of babbled on for.
Oh, stop
Babylon.
complaining. You haven't gotten all three of us in the room
Yeah, that's why
in
it
a
was.
very long time. So you go to hell if
Yeah.
you didn't like it.
Whoa! They're not even here. You're yelling at people that aren't here.
Just yelling at ghosts.
That's the best way to do it, honestly. Wow. Well, thanks for listening, if you did. And we have obviously, like we said, a lot of stuff. We still haven't talked about Dune or Eternals.
Nope.
Hawkeye has just started.
Hawkeye, first couple of episodes are out.
It's a damn delight.
It is
And
very
so,
fun.
yeah, you'll be hearing lots from us. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
This is Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
I'm Daniel Dawson.
And I'm Dino Nicandros.
May the force be with you.
Always.
See ya.
Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.